There we go. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another Icehouse podcast. Today I'm lucky to have Chris Woods with me. Hi, Chris.
Kia ora koutou. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're listening to this.
And I say Chris, it's Christine. Sorry for not giving your full...
No, please, Chris is fine. Often if somebody says Christine, I think it's my mum and I've done something wrong.
Yeah. It's like when someone says your middle name, Gareth John Bayliss. I'm like,
yeah.
Why are you using the middle name?
Normally when you hear a middle name, it's like you're a suspected murderer or something, because it's, or you've been charged with fraud, because it's normally what comes up on the news or on the TV.
It's we were just saying about how this is kind of the new normal, lots of Zooms and things, and obviously I'm doing a lot of these at the minute, but now we're a bit out of lockdown. But you must have done quite a few of these in the last...
Yeah, I think that term of being zoomed out, a mix of doing them for the Icehouse and with the Icehouse, and engaging with some of the owner managers that we've worked with over the years and checking in, saying hi and seeing how they're doing. And I also work at the University of Auckland in the business school. And so we've had to take our on-campus teaching online. And I've got students that are now located in China, the United States, Turkey and New Zealand, and they're in 9 different teams, and they're working with New Zealand businesses on startup ideas or established ideas, and 4 of the teams are working with a business that was on our second owner manager program. So it's really, which was way back in 2002. So, and these students are amazing. They're just amazing, and the clients feeling, they're stage 3, they're still undergraduate, but they're smart and engaged and really excited to be working with New Zealand businesses. So there's been a lot of learning going on about how we manage and working with clients, but boy, they've got a good write-up on their CV.
It's good. Well, people who don't know you, let's give the bit of background. So you've been working at the Icehouse for many years. We don't want to say how many exactly, but
no, my normal line is to say that I've been working with the Icehouse since it was water. And that's as good as my jokes get. So right back in 2000, when people like Jeff Witcher and Bridget Wickham and Barry Spicer from the university were interested in what we were doing in the small business space, and then connecting in with David Irving. And so, I can remember back September 2000, having the first conversations about what we were going to deliver on the first owner-operator manager program. And then we subsequently changed it down to the owner-manager program.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, because we call it the OMP, so it's,
No, OMP, owner manager program.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
So that was back then, and you've been involved all the way through the years. Obviously it's changed slightly, but not really. And then you've done your work at the university, so you predominantly work at the uni, and then you come in and work with us, luckily every few months or so.
Yeah, no, really, really fortunate to be in a both and situation. So I love working at the university. I love being involved in the business school. I love the teaching. I love the research. It's a great space to be in, and it's not an either or. And I absolutely love working with the owner managers and the team at the Icehouse. And hopefully both of those, as we just alluded to with the undergraduate course I'm teaching, these things should work together, and I'm in a really fortunate position where they do.
Yeah, the Icehouse wouldn't be the Icehouse if it wasn't for many different companies and organisations helping to create the first one. But then over the years we've had people come in and work with us, and the partnerships have always been a massive part of our. We've got a new one with Zero. Well, not new, but it's been going for a couple of years. But scholarships are coming out now for that, and every year there seems to be a new partnership or something.
I think for me, coming in from an academic, I worked in the private sector before coming in to being an academic, and I like that the University of Auckland Business School is a cornerstone partner
Yeah.
alongside all of these other businesses to come in where we are serving, small and medium-sized businesses in New Zealand. And again, if you hear me say it once, I'll probably say it 1,000 times, the idea of the both and.
Yeah.
And to have the university and corporates and owner managers, because we've all in a sense got the same purpose, which is creating and continuing to develop an amazing Aotearoa New Zealand.
Yeah, and great. And I mean, we often call it an MBA for business owners. It wouldn't be, the MBA part wouldn't be if it wasn't for the uni originally partners doing it. And there are other business owners as well, but that's just my kind of cheesy sales pitches. You probably haven't heard many of my sales lines, but I've got a few. There'll be a few people who've watched and who've heard a few cheesy ones. So something I read about you when I was doing a bit of due diligence for our chat today is that your career kind of started in Malawi, and you didn't get malaria, you got the entrepreneur bug, was the game.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, so I was working for a medium-sized business in the UK as an investment analyst, and then was looking at what I was going to do. I'd been there sort of 4 or 5 years, and there was an advertisement for VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas. And so I applied, and my skill area was kind of in business as a business advisor, kind of. Although if I look back on it, I had no idea really. But anyway, you fake it till you become it. So that's been the cornerstone of my career.
I came over here as an actor, and now I work for the Icehouse. I mean,
there you go. Yeah. And so I was offered 3 countries: Sierra Leone, Kenya, and Malawi. Cool. And when I was looking at making a decision as to which country, I talked to somebody that just come back from Malawi, and they said it was Africa for beginners. And that was it. I didn't need to hear any more. So I spent some time down in Malawi working as a small business advisor. And I really did become kind of hooked. I think I might even have said that in my bio, on the passion and energy. And in a sense, the absolute need for entrepreneurial thinking in a country that, for all intents and purposes, sits in the bottom of pretty much every statistic you can think of. And I absolutely loved my time there.
And how long were you there for?
Just under 2 years. And it was amazing. I learned far more than I contributed, which actually, again, is another secret of my career, because I feel as though I do that on every owner-manager program I'm on too. I learn far more than what I contribute, and I guess that's why I love being in that space.
I think it's very weird, because obviously I've been 3 and a bit years now, so I've been through, I don't know what, 9 or 10 I've been selling for people to go on, and the constant feedback is honestly, your passion as facilitators for their businesses, it kind of reinvigorates them to be better owners, because all of a sudden you're fresh eyes going, wow, that's amazing. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess it is amazing. They don't realise that they're doing it.
I think we do talk about owner managers as being the unsung heroes of, established owner managers, owner managers of established businesses, because startups are kind of, they're in vogue, and then the large corporates, but actually the backbone of the New Zealand economy and of New Zealand society, I think we can take that a little bit broader, is the work, the risks, the opportunities, the innovation that occurs for small and medium-sized businesses. Yeah,
and it's they don't like to pat themselves on the back. But if you sit in a room, and normally the businesses that go through the program are 3 mil plus, and normally they've got 15 plus staff. So if you put that 25 people in the room, and you think about how many people they all employ in that room, I find that quite overwhelming. That there's 300-400 people employed because of these people that are sitting in the room. Right there.
Yeah, and how many families and whānau are impacted by what these owner managers do and the decisions that they make, and that weighs heavy You know, there's a delight in the success that owner managers achieve with their people, and there's also, you know, there's a weight of responsibility that sits there, and so we have to be very mindful. There's a lot of times when people talk about what SMEs should be doing. Well, should be doing. Often the people saying what they should be do not pay their own wages. Yes. They might earn them, but they don't pay them. Yeah. And so for the owner managers, yes, they come on the program so that they can learn new and different things and improve the business. I'm not saying that there aren't things that they can be doing in their business, but I think we have to be very careful, and hopefully that's something fairly early on that I learnt, really. Yeah. That they pay their own wages. You know, I go to the university and my salary is paid, so I don't have to take the same kind of risk.
Yeah, it's very personal. I learned that pretty quick. You know, is that when I'm ringing up someone and I'm talking about them and their business and why they should work with the Icehouse to improve their skills to help hopefully improve what is already a successful business, is that everything is personal. You know, every single thing that they do, they live with their decision and their hearts on their sleeve. And I mean, do you think that that's part of the reason, because we get that? I mean, it's been obviously very successful. Would you have thought, you know, or meant 20 years ago nearly, that it would have this much longevity? I mean, there'd be 1,000 attendees of it now, 50th OMP starting next week or in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, look, that's a really good question to reflect on. I think when I first became involved in the conversations about the owner manager program, that was led very much by David Irving, and I think he could see that vision for the future. And as a leader, it's one of the best examples of leadership I can think of. As a leader, you just bought into that vision and the values that set, without talking about it quite that way, but that absolute belief in the purpose and what we could achieve working with owner managers. And if I think back to that conversation, because obviously we're coming up to 20 years in September from having that conversation, yes. I think that belief was there, that it did have longevity in it. What we were going to do in the in-between in terms of actually developing the program, delivering and so on, that was kind of the how wasn't there, but we absolutely understood the why. And I think, you know, and I know that language is really popular now, to, you know, Simon Sinek's why and so on. But it really resonates if I understand that why. What's you know, and that why was a giving too, and I think giving to the New Zealand, you know, SME owner manager, giving to the New Zealand economy. What could we contribute? And I think that's also a big part of why I believed in it. I hope that makes sense.
Oh no, I do. I think it does. I mean, have you seen differences, I mean, of types of businesses that have gone through it over the years? So there's a more influx in construction, or, you know, industries that have come into it. I mean, really, now we'll probably have more tech, I guess, coming up.
Yes,
or maybe.
Yeah. Although pure tech businesses, no, technology as a lever within the business, as an enabler within the business, yes. But we could still sit with the same 20 businesses that sat around the table in September 2001. You know, they could still be on the program, you know, coming into the program today. So, no, I think it's remained very remarkably similar. I mean, and another thing too that threads a lot of the businesses, that they're often family businesses.
Yeah.
And of course that stayed consistent, you know, through. I don't think we've had as many women on the program as we've wanted to, as the Icehouse has tried to have come on the business. And I think there's a number of reasons, you know, for that. And, you know, I mean, I'm a mum, I work full time, and then to take time out to do something that would be seen as, for me, as a bit of a challenge. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that the online program that we're you know, offering in a it's in a month. Is it next month? Or
Yeah,
in July. You know, given that given that I'm working on it and facilitating it, hopefully I'll get the dates right. I think it's taking your business forward, maybe by offering something online as a way of engaging women coming in. And obviously it's not just for women, it's for anybody in that particular, you know, segment. So yeah, interesting things to think on.
I think it's I've been crying out for something as well as OMP, but that's just purely because there's the OMP's for 3 million plus businesses, normally pretty established. Where this kind of fits is slightly smaller, up to that 3 mil threshold. And normally when I'm speaking to business owners around that, we encourage them to look at our workshops, which are awesome. You do a bit of work on them as well. And we've got a few of those, or some of our coaching, but we've never had something specifically to look at growing your business, look at how you run the business, look at yourself and network with people. So all of the fundamentals of the Owner Manager program, but for a bit of a smaller type business. And now it's online. I mean, we've had so many people interested in it already, and we're going to be able to do more of them. I think that it's going to...
Look, I think the profit model, the business model that sits in behind it is interesting. Obviously, we started the conversation talking about Zoom, and so now if we had a group of owner managers and we had to organise the Zoom meeting, they'd all pretty much know what to do. Whereas 6 months ago, not necessarily.
Yeah.
And we're learning all the time about what it means to engage online. There's a fantastic entrepreneurship educator in the United States, a young guy that's got a group of people that have got a really interesting business. And so I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, sitting in on a kind of there's 4 sessions over the 4 weeks, and we had over 300 people from, I don't know, maybe over 40 countries, you know, sitting down and engaging with this online learning. Now, I would have, normally I would have traveled to a conference to have that. And so normally you would have traveled to an owner manager program somewhere around New Zealand. But now we can hopefully just kind of engage people that maybe beforehand thought, nah, it's too, I'm not big enough, or it's too difficult, or whatever. It's pretty exciting.
Oh, it is. And I think that you're right around that Zoom. I mean, I was just talking to my mother-in-law's, I'm at home today, my mother-in-law's here, and I said, I'm doing a podcast. And she was like, oh, that's nice. So what's that then? And I said, okay, well, it's like a radio show, but it's recorded. And she said, okay. So what? So are you gonna be speaking to the person? I said, yeah, on video, and then we record it and we put it online. Okay. Well, who watches that then? And and then all these questions come out, and I thought to myself, well, actually, now this is quite normal for me. And I've been watching podcasts and and webinars and things a lot more since being here. But do you think that the people who are attending, I've already got quite a few people signed up, but they're going to be they're more prepped than what they would have been 6 months ago, obviously, and they're actually more engaged?
Absolutely. And the other thing is, if they have to have been, because if they've got anybody over the age of 5, and whether it's at primary school, secondary school, at Polytech, at uni, somehow our children have been engaging in some of this as well.
Yeah.
But of course, then that raises a number of other issues, because I know for the children at my son at the primary school he attends, the internet access around here is very dodgy, and I did one of the sessions with owner managers up at the edge of our local church and school, because my internet was playing up. So I just thought, where can I get internet? And I had like 5 minutes to think about it. Grabbed my computer, grabbed my headset, and headed up, and I'm sitting on the edge because I didn't want to go into the school, and sitting on the edge, and that's where I did the Zoom meeting. So I think you're right, Gareth. We go right back in 6 months ago. So I think this program is just coming at the right time.
And we've something that I think the directing team have been very aware and conscious that they didn't want to lose, is that The owner manager program, I'd say, apart from the amazing facilitation that you guys do, but one of the, if not the biggest thing is the network. People go, Struth, if I hadn't had the people on that program with me, and I've now got 25 other connections from all over the country, different industries, I can just pick up the phone. I've got HR issue, I can pick up this person, or something. There's always someone to have, because you've got a new network. And we really wanted to encourage that. So in the sessions, you have, I think, 7 facilitated sessions where they're actually on specific things, but then there's going to be peer-to-peer sessions, which we're encouraging people just to get on, have a chat like this, talk about what's going on in the business, and build that network. I think that that's still going to work, because that is the secret sauce of the program, really, isn't it?
Well, I think it is, but it's not about creating, just creating a conversation, because that's quite hard. It's around, our role as the facilitators is to create a structure within which those conversations can take place, can start, and then go wherever they need to go to. So those conversations that will be groups of peers, if you like, 4 or 5 owner managers will be having together, there'll be a loose structure around that, which then guides the conversation. But then that conversation can go wherever, as I said, wherever it needs to go. So I think that's quite a key. I hope it'll be quite a key part of the success of the program.
Oh, and that's what normally happens when you're face to face anyway. You start talking about something, and especially if I'm in the conversation, I'll go on some weird tangent to the other side of the world, and then come back to the point. But no, we're all really excited, and we'll there's all information online and stuff about that, so we won't flog it too much. But I reckon it's going to be brilliant, and already the uptake's been really interesting. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is Changing Gears was the original book. So that when I started at the Icehouse, I got given this book. So the week before I started, I read it as quickly. It's the book I've read the fastest ever in my life. And probably, if I'm honest, I need to read it again, because I was just trying to get through it and write down things so I looked educated on my first day. Give us a bit of insight on that Changing Gears book. That was written by yourself.
We wrote that in, I think it came out in 2009, and it was pulled together by David Irving again, one of the founders of the Icehouse, along with 2 colleagues from who are also facilitators and work at the business school, Deb Shepherd and Dal Cole. And so what we wanted was kind of a companion piece to the in-person facilitation that we did. And so that's where the book came together. And framing around that book, we have a overlapping 3-circle model where we talk about the business, you and the business. So, for example, you as the owner manager, your leadership, and then around you, your own health and well-being. And so the book was loosely structured around that. And it's, I can remember one owner manager sending us an email saying, I don't know why you bloody well told us to read this book. I started reading it and I just had to finish it because it was so easy to read, and it was something that had actually been written for us. So it's definitely not an academic text, because that's not the purpose of it. It's hopefully the voice of the owner manager comes through as the person that is represented in the book. And it was something we were really proud of pulling together.
As you got the new one, so is it finished? The new?
No, it is. It's published. So our next version is Gearing Up. We're nothing if not original. And in a few years' time, we could write something about kind of moving out of your business called Winding Down. No, I'm just
Gearing Up. That's got legs.
So with Gearing Up, it is similar to Changing Gears in that the owner manager is the focus of the conversation, but we've picked up on a number of different areas. We've kind of developed the thinking around strategy a little bit more. We've still talked about health and well-being, but kind of that's changed as well. There's a little more around teams and leadership, and there's a little bit at the end about where we're placed within owner managers are placed within community in a global sense, which we wrote before COVID-19, but actually does resonate and speak to the situation we find ourselves in. So again, same authors, David, Dale, Deb, and myself, and again, a project that we've really enjoyed working on. And yes, it comes out next month.
Well, actually,
in July.
I actually know it comes out. It comes out a couple of days after the beginning of the new program starts. So that'll
How's
be a busy
that for
week
timing?
for you. That's brilliant.
I mean, it's almost like we planned it.
I mean,
but we didn't.
It's like some kind of random sales idea, but I doubt it was.
I know. The lengths we go to sell a book.
Well, it's good that you're still doing work with Deb and Dal, because you're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to go anywhere, because you are.
Fine.
You've been doing it for a long time. I wouldn't know how to sell the program if you wasn't in my spiel. So please don't. It's been 3 years and now I can remember it. So that's good. But I think it's been really nice to catch up. As you know, we spoke about before I press record. I want to dig down and get to know the people we're having a chat with. So non-business kind of chat. What is your favourite film of all time?
My favourite film of all time, I can't do.
You can't.
One.
It's too hard a question. Give us a few.
I'm giving 3 of my favourites.
Good, and I always write these down.
So, fried green tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I absolutely love. Being There, which older movie with Peter Sellers.
Oh yeah,
I thought
Peter
that's
Sellers
amazing.
is amazing.
And I love The First Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, good. Okay.
I just think that's
is that quite okay for kids?
Older kids.
Older kids, yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, just older kids. And I enjoyed the second one, but I thought the first one was, because the soundtrack is just amazing. So those.
I think I heard the soundtrack before I read the book. No, not read the book. Was there did Zeppelin do? Didn't Zeppelin do something to do? Was it Zeppelin or one of the old English bands back in the day?
There's heaps of the soundtrack is a collection of kind of old music that I remember listening to.
I'm thinking of War of the Worlds.
Yeah, no, this is and it's
different.
Funny.
Yeah,
so I like it.
And if your last meal, let's say that you're on death row, which you're not, and
you have to ask about TV programs too, though, because I
because I did ask you. Okay, go TV first. Yeah, what's your favourite TV shows?
2. One is Doctor Who, and I've been a Doctor Who fan for a very long time.
Good.
And the other current one is Killing Eve.
Yeah, we're going to start that.
Oh, you'll just binge watch it. It's very weird. It's about a psychopathic assassin, but it's awesome.
I watched one scene of that and I haven't seen anything else, and she does amazing. She's from Liverpool, the main actress.
Yeah,
she does amazing accent.
Awesome.
Amazing accent. And she threw someone under a bus in one scene. It was just a very quick boom, and me and my wife watching was like, what the hell was that? That's really intense.
Amongst about, I don't know, however many other kills. It's awesome. It's a great,
it's a
great TV program.
And so, favourite, what would be your last meal on the planet if you had to choose one?
It would have to have champagne.
Yeah.
So, bubbly for any reason. And I think my mum's roast, and not lamb, but kind of like hogget, but not strong mutton. So that would be, and Mum does it with rosemary and garlic. And then that would be with roast vegetables.
Yeah.
And I think for pudding, I really like stewed apple and rhubarb with vanilla ice cream and a little bit of cream. So
I haven't had, so far you've been the most specific, which I'm now salivating because I really, especially the mum meal. We never get, because living here, I miss my mum's lasagna so much. Like I think about it often.
Well, I think too, the thing with food and with smell as a sense, it takes you back to a time and a place, but also a meal like that is very consistent over, I could have that meal tomorrow. I could invite my mum over to cook it on Sunday. So there's something that's about the past, present, and Oh, and
No.
sorry, you've also got to have mint sauce.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and mum's gravy. So
Yeah.
I've got to throw that in. And then I also like roast pumpkin, and you keep the skin like a butternut, and you keep the skin on it and little,
Would you go for a jelly over a mint sauce, or you're quite a mint sauce?
I generally have both.
Yeah.
So again, I'm a both and. Why choose when you don't have to?
You don't have to choose. You haven't had to choose. And no, I think it's been really nice to catch up. And anyone that's ever been through an Icehouse program or has worked with you knows that you're a pillar from the Icehouse who we love working with, and we really appreciate everything you do. And this new product and a new thing that we've got that we can help people with, we're all really excited. But as I said before, you're not allowed to go anywhere. Stay where you are. Just keep going. Another OMP 100 will be how many years away? Not that many years, because we're in 3 years.
Yeah, it'll be faster because we've gone from having 1 program to 2 programs a year to 3 programs a year. So
4 next year. We'll have 4 again next year.
Yeah. So yeah, and the thing is that hopefully it's all about the owner managers. So
it is, yeah.
And it's so much fun. And as I said, I just keep learning, and that's what I love about it.
Oh, well, we love you. Thanks so much for your time today, and
you are more than welcome.
You do. All right, and we'll see you very soon. But yeah, keep safe.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ka kite.
Bye.